Let me show you how we make the best fall chili. Follow along. All right, the first thing we want to do for our chili is get our minute steak kind of cut up. So I buy this tenderized beef minute steak. You can find it in most of all your grocery stores. It's already tenderized, it's already thin cut, and I just want to cut this up in little pieces. I like having a little bit more texture in my chili. So if you'll just take and just cut it up in little strips like that, right? And then we're gonna take and we're just gonna chunk it like that. Just simple and easy, but it's just gonna give you a little bit different of a chew in this chili. So I'm gonna stack a couple pieces up here and go to cutting. Now let's get a little bit of olive oil in our Dutch oven here, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw down some of this beef to start browning. You know, chili, you can make it your own by adding anything that you want to. You can add beans, you can do no beans, you can add real beef, you can add ground beef, you can add a mixture of sausage or ground pork. You can kind of make it your own. That's what's so neat about chili. There really isn't a wrong or a right way. If you even want to make your own beef stock, do it. But for me, it's just a lazy Saturday. I'm gonna open up some canned ingredients, do some fresh ingredients as well, and make a darn good chili. All right, while our meat's kind of steaming up and cooking here in our pot, I'm gonna go ahead and dice our bell pepper and our onion and our jalapeños. Now we're using 1 whole onion of your choice, 1 whole bell pepper, and 2 diced jalapeños. Now when you're dicing your jalapeños, if you want your chili extra spicy, leave the seeds in. For me, I'm not gonna have the seeds. I'm gonna make sure I get every one of them out. Now that I've got that pound of minute steak diced up and thrown in, it's about halfway cooked, I'm gonna get a pound of fresh ground round in. Now I use the leanest meat I can for chili. You can use whatever you like. I normally like buying a chili grind, which is a little bit bigger, but my local grocery shop this morning did not have that. I'm gonna get that ground round kind of busted up and let it start cooking. And then we're gonna come back and add a pound of ground pork. All right, now that we've got that ground beef about halfway browned, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in that pound of fresh ground pork. All right, as you can see, our ground meat here is just about done. I'm gonna kind of push it to the side here, kind of tilt my skillet. And now instead of taking all this out, you kind of see the drained liquid here. Just a little trick what I do. I get everything back like that. I get me a couple old good paper towels, lay down in the bottom of that pot, soak all that up right there. Just like that. Now you just want to remove a little bit of this fat and rendering. I'm not removing all of it, but I also don't want all that in there. I don't. It's completely up to you if you do that step. Some people skip it altogether. Now I want to get in all my diced ingredients, bell peppers, jalapeños, and good old onion. Once I get all that in the pot, start getting it stirred around and incorporated with all this ground beef and ground pork, chunks of beef. I'm gonna let it brown and those onions kind of get a little bit tender, and then we're gonna start adding some liquid. Now, while these are rendering down here, I am gonna go ahead and add some seasoning in. Now, one thing I'm gonna do, I'm out of small bottles of W sauce, but I use so much of this stuff, I get it by the half gallon. That's just me. I love this Worcestershire sauce here. It's great, it's the one I use. If you don't have it, be sure to use what you have, but I'm gonna go with a couple solid tablespoons. That may have been a little over a couple, but shh, don't tell nobody. Now, I'm gonna come back with a little bit of that garlic jalapeno rub. Once I get that garlic jalapeno rub in there, I'm gonna come back with a little bit of beef rub in. Now, I'm gonna use a little bit of beef bouillon here. I'm gonna put 2 to 3 teaspoons. It's completely up to you of what you put. Gonna dash it in here. Now, get that kind of mixed up. Now I want to add the 4 ingredients that's in this cup. It's a full tablespoon of each one. I got a tablespoon of cumin, a tablespoon of smoked paprika, a tablespoon of ancho chili powder, and a tablespoon of dark red chili powder. 4 ingredients, really easy, really simple. Now, before we add any liquid to any of this, I'm gonna add a pinch of cinnamon, a couple little dashes. Now, to richen this chili up and to make it kind of award-winning chili, but don't tell anyone, we're gonna use a little bit of Hershey's cocoa powder. Now I'm gonna use just a couple of tablespoons. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, I'm not putting any kind of chocolate in there. Just trust me on that. Use Mexican chocolate, use cocoa, use whatever you have like that. It's just gonna richen this chili up and give it an incredible depth of flavor. I actually used to add a little bit of Hershey's chocolate syrup to my barbecue sauce when I went over to Georgia and other states to cook, because the judges seem to always go back for another bite. They couldn't figure out what that taste was when you mix it in with a sauce. You can't so much taste the chocolate, it just brings a depth that it's kind of unexplainable. It makes you want to go back for another bite. Now I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of brown sugar. Trust me, this recipe is gonna get a little bit spicy. Now, I'm gonna add a whole can of Campbell's tomato soup. Now, let's get in a whole 7.5 ounce can or 7.75 ounces of chipotle sauce. You can use chipotle peppers in adobo if you want. My store was out, so I'm just using the chipotle sauce. Now y'all know we gotta come back with a little bit of beer. I'm going with that Miller Lite. Now this is a miniature. That was 8 ounces. I probably drank a couple ounces out of it, so probably about 6 ounces of beer, or about half of a big beer. Now I'm gonna go in with 2 14.5 ounce cans, I believe that's right. Yep, of diced tomatoes. These are chili ready, so use what you like. You can actually substitute it out for Rotel too if you want. Now I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna add 2 cans of the Bush's mixed chili beans, and this is the mild flavor. So if you don't like beans in your chili, you don't have to add them right now. I do a lot of chilies without beans, but sometimes I do like a little bit of beans in my chili. I don't go overboard and put 5 or 6 cans. I think a couple cans is more than enough. So I'm gonna go in with 2 cans. Now you wanna get that all incorporated and stirred around good. Oh yeah. Now, I've got some beef stock here. I'm gonna add about half a thing of beef stock. If you wanna add a little less, it's completely up to you. Whatever the consistency you like of your chili. All right. Now there's only one thing left to do. Let's get this lid on this chili. I'm gonna cut it down to a medium heat, and I'm gonna let it simmer for at least a couple hours. All right, our chili is done simmering, and I can tell you it smells amazing. So the first thing I wanna do is scoop a good bowl in here. Now I'd be lying to y'all if I didn't tell you I already had a little taste of this. It's got the right amount of spice, the right amount of kick to it. Oh, and it's good. Now, I made this good eating chili. I'm gonna tell y'all, when you scoop up your big bowl like that right there, and you get it out here, it's got the right consistency and the right levels of heat. There ain't but one thing we need to do. That's add a little sour cream and a little cheese to the top of this, and we're gonna get ready to give it a try. All right, so just to recap, I took 1 pound of minute steak that was already tenderized from the store, cut it up into teeny pieces, and threw it in my Dutch oven here with just a little bit of olive oil. I let it brown down, then I threw in a pound of ground round, really lean meat, and then I threw in a pound of ground pork. I come back with a whole onion and a whole green bell pepper, let it saute down, and I started adding my ingredients like ancho chili powder, dark red chili powder, cumin, some of my garlic jalapeno rub, and amongst a bunch of other things. All that recipe is gonna be down below. I added some Bush's chili beans to it with a mix. I added some tomato sauce to create one of the best chilies that's simple and easy you can make. And now one of the last things to do is top this chili off with some sour cream and some cheese and get ready to chow down. All right, we've got our chili loaded up with a little bit of sour cream, cheddar cheese, and green onions. There's only one thing left to do, and that's get in here and try a bite. Gotta make sure I get a little bit of everything on here. Y'all, I'm telling you, this chili's got the perfect texture. That's one of those minute steak pieces I just had there. The different types of meat, the ancho chili powder adds a little bit of depth to the regular dark chili powder. The cumin comes in there. I'm telling y'all, this is one of the most simple, easy fall chili recipes you can have. You don't have to go buy a bunch of chili stuff out of a pack or anything like that. This stuff is incredible like it is. Remember, if you like what we're doing on our channel, be sure to like, subscribe, follow along with your friends. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, and of course, YouTube. I'll see you next week with another video.